I'd wake up and I would just do so many bad habits and be so distracted from the business work that I wanted to do that I would basically get nothing done. So you might be able to relate to that. I was just procrastinating. I wasn't being productive. I wanted to be a YouTuber, but I wasn't getting the videos done. I'd randomly just switch business models and go try drop shipping for like a month, but I wouldn't even like be productive in doing that. I was all over the place and my habits weren't good. And I realized that to become an entrepreneur and get the results that I wanted in life, I would have to go and live an extreme lifestyle. And so I started to build up this picture of, okay, what would I do if I could commit everything to success right now? I'd break up with my girlfriend. And I didn't want to admit that. I remember feeling, like shy and reserved, like I was journaling this. I started to like write with like really poor handwriting so that hopefully if she looked through this, she wouldn't be able to read this. But I wrote, I'd break up with her. I'd move back home to this room right here. I realized one of the biggest things that was stopping me from reaching success was the job that I had, which, everyone respected me for and said, yes, he's got a full-time job. That's so cool. He's got a stable 9-to-5 job. But I realized it was that was actually stopping me from getting success because it was just taking too much time and I didn't have enough like brain points to go and build something else on top of the 9-to-5 job. May 2020. I took a massive hit to my ego, to my status. I broke up with a girl that I had been living with for about 2 or 3 years before that point. Moved back here to my childhood room, which was filled with trauma, with old past memories of like what life used to be when I used to be here. I had been to university, had such a amazing social and sexual experience there. I was so different, and then I come back here and my family is still arguing. I took that hit because I was willing to delay gratification. And so one of the first things I did when I came back, I grabbed my beard trimmer, I trimmed all my hair off as like a sign of me like locking in, going all in. I went onto my iPhone notes, created like a new note with a table and started to write down the hours of the day and what I would do for each hour of the day, like a military psychopath. 5 a.m., wake up. 6 a.m., run outside. 7 a.m., business work. 12 o'clock, learn. 2 p.m. eat, like this. Like every hour was jotted down, accounted for. And then I just stared at that timetable all day as much as I could. Anytime I was taking a shit, I'd literally just look at my military timetable, what I was supposed to be doing. I would keep myself so accountable. That was 4 years ago. I ended up going all in on YouTube. Had a massive blow up journey. In 1 year, the channel started to really climb and I got to like 3,000 subscribers. Then it started to pop off and I got to 20,000, then 100 and 500, then I got to 1 million. Then I really hated YouTube. I lost my way as an entrepreneur. So much has happened, but basically within 4 years, I hit easily over like $1 million, and my net worth is easily over that right now, which is interesting because I'm still in the same childhood bedroom. The way that I make my money, if you're interested, is basically I have a Skool community. Skool is like this new website that you'll see more and more like creators get on. It's somewhat fairly new, but more guys get onto it because it's really cool. And it's the top link in the description if you just want to go have a look. So I'm 26 years old, almost 27. I make like a fuck ton of money, more than you would actually believe. If I told you, you wouldn't believe it. I'll just link my program below and there's numbers on that website that you'll go and calculate. You'll see the price and then you'll see how many guys I have inside. Put that into a calculator and you'll see how much money I make basically. But what's interesting is I still live with my parents. I still don't really wear like very expensive things. And I feel like I haven't even set up my life yet. Like I don't even have a driving license yet. Like my driving test is on Monday. Because recently I've been wanting to set up my life. I don't have a home outside of this. I've traveled a lot and I've had times where I've kind of moved out for months because I traveled to like Bali or Thailand or London or something. But I've not had like a actual home for myself, even though I'm 26 years old, even though like I was getting ready to get a family. So I feel like in a lot of ways, I'm quite behind in the sort of life experience that most people would have when they're my age, almost 27 years old. I don't have a driving license. But do I regret it? Whilst I was 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 years old, and I was grinding 12-hour days, there was other people who were my age, let's say, the people I went to school with, and they had a lot more balance. Like, they worked Monday to Friday, 8 hours, and then on Fridays, they went out and, drank and everything. In fact, I even recently saw a group of the hot girls from school. I just went past them once and it made me think everyone else had fun these last few years. Do I regret what I've done? I spent these years grinding. And the answer is fuck no. Of course I don't fucking regret it. Are you mad? You want to know the fucking truth? This is gonna sound brutal. It's gonna make me sound like an asshole. The hot girls I went past, they weirdly all had like double chins. Like they weren't fat, but they looked really unhealthy. And instantly I knew why. And if you're a guy who fucks a lot, you'll probably know why as well. It's like a lot of the sort of normal, popular people, they've been poisoning themselves with alcohol, late nights and takeaways and shit food and not exercising much for the past few years. When I started like any kind of self-improvement 10 years ago, I was like this weak, skinny, fat little brown kid. Now I probably have the best physique out of everyone who I went to school with. I probably make more money than everyone I went to school with. And I could have had the same fun. I could have went out to like more parties and nightclubs and stuff. I wasn't invited to them, but I could have like started, right? And I have more of the opportunities to now. Now, if there's like a party in Dubai, I can go there. My friends will literally message me like, oh, let's go rent out a villa in Croatia in May. So we might do that for a week just to like fuck around. I'm literally seriously considering moving to London and then getting a really nice place there in basically the single greatest, like most expensive neighborhood of the entire fucking country. Because I didn't want the normal path, which is like you graduate from uni, then you get a shit car, then you grind in some shit job, but you reset all of it by drinking on the weekends, being sleep deprived, watching Netflix and getting fucked by some random strangers from high school or something. And you get to 22 years old, you get a slightly better job, and then now you can afford to go get like a 1.5k a month apartment in like, not the big city that you want to go to, but like the kind of crappy city nearby. And that's a big move for you. I didn't want the normal life. I wanted like 0 to 100, and I was willing to stay at level 0 for longer if I could slingshot, if I could wormhole over to the point that I wanted to go. What's interesting is I had observed the same thing with every entrepreneur that I've looked up to. They've all done the same, quite like low-key monk mode grind, like the locked in season where they've stayed far below their means, where they haven't been super social, they haven't even been sexual with girls. They've literally just woken up and just fucking worked like a dog to build up a huge level of success. And now my family don't have to work again. When I meet an amazing woman and I want to get into a serious relationship, she doesn't have to work at all. My competition is men who say that they want a 50-50 relationship. And they're the kind of like guys with low testosterone who look at girls and say like, well, what do you bring to the table? That's my competition. I take girls out on the first date to a different country. Like, you don't understand? Like, even though I look like, oh yeah, I'm kind of weird and stuff. At home, yeah, sure, like I'm in monk mode season. It's kind of strange that like, wait, I'm this weird secret millionaire who like still lives with his family. But within an instant, I can literally go fly off to any country and instantly look like some rich fucking guy. And I'll get my editors to throw up some clips of me like doing that, you know, like this, the high value man thing in the city. Every time I do that, what you don't realize is like, there's a girl in my hotel waiting for me who I've flown out. And it's like me flying her out to come stay with me in my 5-star hotel basically costs me nothing. Like, it doesn't dent my bank account at all. It's not just that in the last few years I became a millionaire and that's the only thing that I have. It's that I genuinely improved in as many areas as I actually could. I've had seasons where I've prioritized only mental health and I've done an hour of meditation every single day. I've filled out easily 25, 30 notepads for journaling, for gratitude journaling. Like, think about that, 35 notepads. I imagine you went to the store nearby and there's like notepads, you know, the A4 size, and you filled out like 30 of them over the last few years, just writing down what you're grateful for. So even though I sound like, you know, like a narcissistic asshole in this video, that's just my sort of competitive business side. Truthfully, I've leveled up sides that you probably wouldn't get at a first impression because you're judging a book at a first cover. When people see a man who speaks with like confidence and competition, they assume that he's like a bit of an asshole and that he's cold and that, you know, he's like, I don't know, abusive or some shit. I've done more healing than probably 10, 20, 50 people would ever even do in their lifetimes. And I've done that in the last few years. I've been there, lying on the floor in Bali, doing breath work, releasing childhood trauma that was like stored inside of my body. I've been there crying with my father, telling him that I'm grateful for the hard work that I never showed the appreciation for before. So don't get me wrong, I might seem like some materialistic guy who's saying, yeah, I sacrificed fun and happiness and relationships for money. But I did this not just for money, but for literally just self-growth, self-improvement. And the money comes to that. That's why I read for 2-3 hours a day. I was just reading books. That's why I went and took action on those books. That's why when I would get an insight from like a social skills book, I would stop reading. I would walk outside of my fucking house, go find a stranger and go use the tactic that I had just learned on them so that I could develop this skill. If you literally just go all in on the kind of things that I preach, like self-improvement, delayed gratification, building up skills and knowledge, improving your mental health, working like a fucking dog, you will achieve these massive goals that you've got. And trust me, don't let anyone tell you that like, oh, you're missing out on life. Because you know what, the last point that I'm just going to make is, I promise you, in the last few years of me grinding and sacrificing, I still believe I had more fun than everyone else who lived like a normal life. The people who went out and drank alcohol every week, the people who watched fucking Netflix and anime, and the guys who went and watched football with their 20% body fat friends, drinking beers and shit. I guarantee if we were able to quantify somehow, I would have had more fun and enjoyment these last few years than they did. Because when you go all in on your own self-improvements, it's like your baseline level of fun just improves. Like I can sit here, there's a new meme that I've seen going around, which is called raw dogging an experience. Basically you're in an experience on a flight without any stimulation. And this is what a girl said to me. It's I can't believe you just raw dog life like this. I'll sit in a flight and just sit there and I'm smiling through it. You don't realize I don't have music on. I'm not stimulated. When I'm on an airplane, I don't watch the fucking movie or anything. I'll literally just sit there and just be smiling because I'm just a happy guy. Have you seen my fucking physique? This is what I look like 24/7. Of course I'm gonna smile. Look at me. Of course I'm gonna fucking smile. In the flight, one, I look like this. But two, I've probably just made $5,000 or $10,000 by the time we land. Of course I'm going to be smiling. Of course I don't need to change my experience of reality like most people do by taking drugs or some shit. So when you build up this stuff, you don't even need the stimulation that most people do. I don't need the drugs. I don't need the anime, the movie. I'll sit here and just feel happy because of the level that I've built myself up to. That is one of the best parts of grinding, sacrificing, and going all in. And I really hope you'll take that seriously. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.